Yes.
Knowing that you must lose?
Well, we can't. All men lose when they die. All men die but a slave.
Kirk Douglas isn't just a Hollywood icon. He's known for having 4 sons. Michael, Joel, Peter, and Eric each shouldered the challenge of growing up with a legend. Did they follow in Kirk's footsteps or find their own way? One son became an Oscar-winning actor who matched his father's fame. Another struggled with addiction while trying to establish his own acting career. A third quietly built a successful career, producing acclaimed films. Today, we're diving into what happened to Kirk Douglas's 4 sons, exploring how they navigated life in the shadow of a legend and where they are now. We'll start at number 4 and work our way to number 1. Number 4, Eric Douglas, the youngest son. Born June 21, 1958 in Los Angeles, Eric was the youngest of Kirk's 4 sons and the second child from his marriage to Ann Bidens. From the beginning, Eric's position as the baby of the family and the son of an increasingly famous father shaped his outlook. Growing up in Beverly Hills, he attended elite private schools but struggled academically. While his older brothers had established themselves before Kirk reached the peak of his fame, Eric grew up entirely in his father's substantial shadow. Unlike his brothers, who found paths slightly adjacent to their fathers, Eric pursued acting and stand-up comedy directly. He made small appearances in films like The Golden Child and television shows like The Bold and the Beautiful. But the inevitable comparisons to his legendary father and successful brother Michael proved difficult to escape. By the early 1990s, Eric's struggles became public. He battled substance abuse issues and had several brushes with the law. In 1996, he survived a near-fatal overdose that left him in a coma for 8 days. Despite these challenges, friends described Eric as warm and generous, with a self-deprecating humor that often touched on his status as the other Douglas. He was open about his difficulties living up to the family name, telling the Los Angeles Times in 1994, "It's not easy being the son of a screen legend." Tragically, Eric Douglas was found dead in his Manhattan apartment on July 6, 2004. He was just 46 years old. The medical examiner determined the cause was an accidental overdose involving prescription medications. Eric's story represents the darker side of Hollywood legacy, a cautionary tale about the pressures of famous parentage and the personal demons that can follow. Number 3, Joel Douglas, the private guardian. Born January 23, 1947, in Los Angeles, Joel is the second son of Kirk and his first wife, Diana Dill. Growing up, Joel had a front-row seat to his father's rising career. But unlike his older brother Michael, he showed little interest in being in front of the camera. Instead, he gravitated toward the business and production side of filmmaking. This choice allowed him to participate in the family business while carving out his own distinct role. After studying at the University of Southern California, Joel began working as a production assistant before moving into producing. He collaborated with his brother Michael on several projects, including One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The China Syndrome, though his contributions were often overshadowed by Michael's more visible role. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Joel continued working behind the scenes on various productions. He served as a producer on Romancing the Stone and its sequel, The Jewel of the Nile, both starring his brother Michael. Joel has been notably private throughout his life, rarely giving interviews or appearing at public events. When he does attend Hollywood functions, it's typically in support of family members rather than promoting his own work. He has been married 4 times and has maintained close relationships with his siblings, particularly Michael. When their father Kirk died in 2020, Joel was an integral part of managing family affairs and preserving the Douglas legacy. Today, Joel lives quietly in California, largely retired from the film industry. While he never achieved the fame of his father or brother, Joel's career demonstrates how the children of celebrities can contribute meaningfully to their family's legacy while maintaining personal boundaries. Number 2, Peter Douglas, the independent producer. Born November 23, 1955, in Los Angeles, Peter is the first son from Kirk's second marriage to Ann Biden's. Unlike his older half-brothers, who grew up during Kirk's rise to fame, Peter was born when his father was already an established star. This timing meant that Peter's childhood was shaped by both privilege and intense public scrutiny. He attended private schools in Beverly Hills before studying at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Rather than being intimidated by the Douglas name, Peter embraced the family business but insisted on independence. In 1979, he founded his own production company, Vincent Pictures, deliberately separating himself from his father's and brother Michael's production entities. His breakout success came in 1988 when he produced the television miniseries Something Is Out There. This was followed by his crowning achievement, producing the 1993 film Falling Down, starring Michael Douglas. The film, a dark examination of urban alienation, showcased Peter's willingness to tackle complex, controversial material. Throughout the 1990s, Peter continued producing films including Flat Top and The Final Countdown. He also directed the 1991 HBO film A Son's Memories, a conversation with Kirk and Michael Douglas, offering a rare glimpse into the family's dynamics. Unlike many Hollywood producers, Peter maintained a relatively low profile while still producing significant work. He once told the Los Angeles Times, "I've never been interested in trading on my father's name. I wanted to make it on my own terms." In recent years, Peter has been involved in managing the Douglas family's considerable philanthropic efforts, particularly through the Douglas Foundation, which Kirk and Ann established to support various charitable causes. Today, Peter lives in Los Angeles and continues to develop film projects while also focusing on environmental activism and philanthropy. His career demonstrates how the child of a legend can acknowledge their heritage while establishing a distinct professional identity. Number 1, Michael Douglas, the dynasty's successor. Born September 25, 1944, in New Brunswick, New Jersey, Michael is the eldest son of Kirk Douglas and his first wife, Diana Dill. Michael's early years were marked by his parents' divorce when he was just 6 years old. He split time between his mother's home in New York and his father's in California, giving him a unique perspective on Kirk's rising stardom. After attending the elite Choate Rosemary Hall boarding school, Michael studied drama at the University of California, Santa Barbara. Unlike his brothers, Michael embraced the spotlight from the beginning. His breakthrough came not through his father's connections, but through television. Starring as Inspector Steve Keller in the popular series The Streets of San Francisco from 1972 to 1976. But Michael's true genius revealed itself in his work as a producer. In 1975, he produced One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which had been a passion project of his father's. Kirk had owned the rights but couldn't get the film made, eventually passing them to Michael. The film swept the major Academy Awards, winning Best Picture, and established Michael as a formidable producer. As an actor, Michael created memorable characters in films like The China Syndrome, Romancing the Stone, and most iconically as Gordon Gekko in Wall Street, which earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor in 1988. He proved he could step out of his father's shadow and become an equally significant figure in Hollywood. The 1990s brought both professional success and personal struggles. While starring in hits like Basic Instinct and The American President, Michael also faced a highly publicized addiction treatment in 1992 and a difficult divorce from his first wife, Deandra. His second marriage to actress Catherine Zeta-Jones in 2000 marked a new chapter. Despite health challenges, including a 2010 battle with throat cancer, Michael continued working, winning an Emmy for his portrayal of Liberace in Behind the Candelabra, and joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Hank Pym. Throughout his career, Michael has managed the delicate balance of honoring his father while establishing his own legacy. He once said, "I've always tried to be straightforward about my relationship with my father. It defined me." Today, at 81, Michael remains active in Hollywood while embracing his role as father to 3 children and grandfather to several grandchildren. He continues the Douglas family's philanthropic work while serving as a UN messenger of peace. Michael's story demonstrates that sometimes the most successful response to a legendary parent is not to flee the legacy, but to build upon it with integrity. When Kirk Douglas passed away in 2020 at the age of 103, he left behind more than just a filmography of classics like Spartacus and Paths of Glory. He left a complicated legacy for his 4 sons to navigate, one filled with towering achievements, philanthropy, and the pressures that come with a household name. Each son had to find his path while carrying the weight of the Douglas dynasty on his shoulders. They faced the eternal question that haunts the children of icons. Do you embrace the legacy or fight to create your own? The 4 sons of Kirk Douglas embody different responses to the challenge of being born into extraordinary privilege and extraordinary pressure. From Michael's embrace of the spotlight to Joel's preference for privacy, from Peter's independent productions to Eric's tragic struggles, they show that there is no single right way to be the child of an icon. What unites their stories is the inescapable influence of their father, not just his fame, but his legendary work ethic and determination. Kirk Douglas rose from poverty to become one of Hollywood's greatest stars through sheer force of will. That same determination appears in different forms in each of his sons, whether channeled into building careers, maintaining privacy, or fighting personal demons. Perhaps the most important legacy Kirk left his children wasn't his fame, but his philanthropy. The Douglas family has given away millions to causes ranging from Alzheimer's research to children's hospitals. In this, all 4 sons found common ground, the understanding that privilege carries responsibility. The Douglas sons remind us that legacies aren't inherited passively. They're actively shaped by each new generation that bears the name.